Farhan, also known as Farn. I'm a documentary photographer. Been in the industry for 10 years. And today I have...
Hi, I'm Sazeli Jalal. I'm a fine art artist, and today we are at my studio actually.
Yes, we are in studio. So today we are reviewing some of our favorite books. So for me, I have two books. One of it is Blanc Photos. So we're gonna review this, and the other one is Hardcore in Mono.
And for me, I'm gonna bring one of my favorite, which is David LaChapelle, Heaven to Hell. Yes. So Farhan, I'm going to show you one of my favorite works of David LaChapelle. So this is the series that I just talked about, which is the Homeboy series. So what do you think?
Okay, to me, as a photographer, as a documentary photographer, I think this is a very different approach because it's more of a storytelling in a sense that it's more deeper than what normally documentary is telling lah. Because documentary is basically covering story from start to end. But for this, I think the photographer managed to tell the story what he want in just one image. You know, and interestingly, when I look at this image, he managed to bring in all the different elements that he wanted people to see how he expressed himself or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's very important as a storyteller, both documentary photographer and both as a fashion photographer like him. You know, at the end of the day, as photographers, we need to tell a story and something which is also honest, and I think that can relate to people. Yeah. So this is another image of his work, where you see the two policemen and the prostitute. Yeah.
Personally, I think I like this image.
Why is that so?
Because in a documentary perspective, in a street photographer's perspective, I mean, without the Jesus, it's literally another set of story.
Yeah.
But with him incorporating the Jesus in the image, it tells a different story. Yeah. But end of the day, it's still managed to tell the message that he wanted to tell.
Yeah, exactly. And I find it interesting that, like, you know, even as a documentary photographer, I mean, the style that he does it, you know, even with the lighting and everything, it still looks somewhat natural.
Yes,
in a way.
it doesn't look fake.
It doesn't look exactly.
It
doesn't look fake at all. Yeah, especially the ambience that he tried to create. Yeah. So this is another one of his same series where the model washes his feet. Yeah, in the kitchen. Yeah. What do you think about this?
For me, I like how he composes his images, using everyday scenes, everyday sceneries, and I mean, he's trying to tell us a message, but in a subtle and in a more creative way.
Yeah, maybe in an everyday setting.
Yes, true.
Yeah, correct. Because I mean, of course, I mean, we see images of Jesus in those 17th century paintings or whatsoever, whereby everything is so opulent, everything is so extravagant.
Right.
But in this series, he did it very, very down to earth, very in the Bronx. You know, in everyday setting.
He portrayed Jesus in a way that Jesus is supposed to be, to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
correct.
even though Jesus is God to some, but in this series, what I can see, he bring down Jesus to the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is something different.
Yeah, like for example, this scene whereby it's actually taken in a marketplace, in a fish market. You know, I think that is something quite daring in a way. It's quite different.
It's interestingly also to see that he still keep his genre, which is fashion, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
Inside his image. So you can see from here. I can see how proper the dressings are. You know, so it's a good balance of all.
And one thing I used to be a fashion photographer, and one thing that LaChapelle is very good at is actually color, and you know the color that he really immaculately picked each and individual color to make it very seamless that it
Yes.
goes along one
Yes,
another, you
true.
know. And
It's
color is
not
very
too
difficult.
loud, it's not too over.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't shoot color, but yeah, I can see.
It's very different
Yeah.
from what you're doing, right? Yeah, correct. Yeah. So actually, the color that he uses harmonizes each other,
Yeah.
and I think that is very, very interesting to see. Yeah. And another photo of him. This is at the in a room. Yeah.
Yeah, this photos I think is nicely done, because if you, I don't know how other others view it, because from one glance the first thing I see is the scene where a few of them is trying to maybe pray towards him or idolize him, but in the TV there's this sense of breaking news back then, so I believe this will be during the Gulf War period.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
during that period, people pray. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, correct. I mean, you shoot at temples before too as a documentary
Yes, true.
photographer, right? Yeah. So, what is your experience with shooting documentary in a temple different than what you see here? In a way, what makes it? What do you think that it's
I think
a challenge? Your challenges.
the main difference I compare in shooting a documentary and with this kind of images is that with his images you can see that his subjects are actually more connected to his main subject, which is Jesus, and it tells a different story. I mean, it's more subtle. I mean, as a viewer, as a person who see the image, you need to think to actually understand the image. Whereas documentary is straight up, is straightforward. You see this image, oh, this guy is praying. You see this image, this guy is doing this.
Yeah.
But for him, he literally just summarized all that, put in a few creative aspect, and
Yeah, I think that's very interesting to see. And this is one of my very, very favorite, which is The Last Supper. I think everyone knows The Last Supper. We seen on those Baroque paintings, Yeah, so I love the way how he recreates The Last Supper. I think it's
nice. I mean, I as a documentary photographer, I also watch a lot of documentaries, and I watch a lot of those, ganglands and stuff.
Yeah.
I believe before every gang, before they went on a turf war, they also have this so-called ritual, the last ritual. And this picture literally tells that, but in a more, like I say, more subtle, more creative.
Yeah.
It's not so hardcore. It's not so how to say. When people see, it's just pleasing to the eyes. It won't be so.
I would say it's very stylized.
Yes. True.
Yeah, even the gestures of their hands,
Yep.
even the props that they use, it's all, there's a reason to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's very different in fashion photography like this, and in documentary, where documentary is already there.
Yes.
Yeah, but in fashion we have to recreate that scene.
Yeah. But interestingly, how he recreate is that you don't look fake, like how you say, he don't look fake.
Yeah.
All the characters play their role well, and how he did the arrangement, it's really nice.
It's really, really nice. Yeah, I agree upon that.
Okay, so today we are reviewing Blanc. Okay, it's one of my favorite book because I'm a skateboarder myself, so
cool.
it somehow connects me with the whole imagery. So I think we're just going to go through a few of my favorite image. Okay. Firstly is a image of Blanc, mom and dad.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I'm not. The good thing about this book, there's no description and stuff. So you need to actually watch his documentary to actually understand his whole series. But I need your opinion.
Okay.
I mean, when you look at this image, what can you see? What can you say about this image?
I think it's very interesting that you said that he's actually a skateboarder, but the fact is when he took this image, I see no relevance of skateboarding culture. It's actually guns. I think that's somewhat interesting yet disturbing in a way for me as a photographer, I mean as a fashion photographer, when I see people with guns, I'll normally run away. You know, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So one thing I really admire those documentary photographer is how you approach people. You know, and I think that is very difficult. If you do not know how to approach that person
Yes.
and want to take a photograph and ask permission for that, you know, how do you normally do that?
I mean, there's a few methods on how a few documentary photographers does it, and like one of my idol photographer, I mean one of the photographer I idolize is Robert Capa. So he have this famous statement where he stated, you need to get good photos, you need to get close. Yeah. So to me as a documentary photographer, to tell the real story, you need to be in the subject shoes. You need to be as close as possible with the subject. Then you can actually bring out the whole story.
Yeah.
And especially for this image, so like you say, there's no relevant to skateboarding and
Yeah.
stuff. But if you read about him, this picture is actually his mom and dad who is actually protecting their house, which is also his backyard skate park
Oh my.
from any drive-by shooting. So where he stays, in the area where he stays, there's a lot of drive-by shooting. So you can't rely on the local law enforcer. You be your own law enforcer.
That's the problem with the Americans, isn't it? Thank God we are in
Yes,
Singapore.
true. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
wow, this is really cool. I mean, if you don't tell me the story, I wouldn't know. I would just think that, oh, this is in Texas, where you know those strange Americans with guns. You know, yeah, there's nothing got to do with skateboard. But wow, it's really amazing. It's cool.
And another reason why I sharing this book is because this guy shoot totally on film. So
cool. Wow.
he started shooting in 94, 93, I think 93, 94. So back then there was no digital camera.
Yeah. Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's right.
If you ever experience on shooting film, you know
of course,
how difficult it is
Yes,
to shoot
it is.
film.
Yeah.
And especially when doing documentary, you
Yeah.
don't have the luxury like what most fashion photographers have to compose
Yeah.
images.
We normally at that time we use Polaroids to review because we don't have laptops or whatsoever. So we use Polaroids and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So
Film is
very
not cheap.
expensive. It's not cheap at all.
I mean, photography itself is not cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Alright, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna see the next image. Alright, okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, first look as a fashion photographer, I noticed the pose, you know, and I used to be a inline aggressive skater as well. But you know, I mean, I know how hard it is to do something like this, you know. And actually, back then, in my younger days, I actually do filming with our inline skates as well. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of retakes to do it and stuff like that. You know, and to capture that moment, it is something very. Once you hit it, it's like gold.
yes, true.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I can see the pure dedication of the skateboarder.
Yeah.
You can see from the expression and
I mean-
everything, and he looks so effortless.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so effortless. I understand because I used to be. So yeah, that's why we can understand. But I mean, for a normal person, they must say, oh, okay, he's just vandalizing a yellow
Yes,
cat.
true, correct.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, for this image, the reason why I like it is, as what I know, this is illegally taken. Okay, the reason why I say it's illegally taken because it's at a petrol station where the cab is obviously refueling.
Yeah,
the driver not there, skater see an opportunity.
Yeah.
He's a skater as well.
Yeah.
He have his camera. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do this. One shot, boom, and they got it.
Do you think he used like a flash or something? Because I can see the light from his buttocks there, you know, flashing.
As far as I know,
Yeah.
he don't really use a flash.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
it's just available light.
yes, available
Oh,
light. Because
cool.
if you can see, the other part of the images is actually quite dark.
Yeah, it is.
Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
I mean, to shoot this on film.
No, it's very difficult.
Yeah,
Trust
it's-
me. This is luck.
Yes. I mean, honestly.
This is luck.
Yes. True,
Yeah, this is
true,
really luck.
true.
You know, I mean,
Yes.
in my experience, this is luck. Yeah.
It's not easy. I mean,
It's not
yes,
easy.
you need to have all the basic knowledge and
Yeah,
stuff.
correct.
And yes, lah.
Yeah, it is luck. I think for
Luck.
documentary photographer, luck is very, very
Yes,
important.
true.
So you have to pray first before you shoot.
Maybe I should start shooting Jesus. I know.
Yeah. But it's really, I mean, as a fashion photographer, back then I was a fashion photographer, it's really nice, you know, I like the pose. Because I always like to direct my models to pose a certain way. You know, yeah, and it's even for them to stand there for a few minutes is very difficult.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, this is nice.
Yeah. And I mean, and as a black and white photographer, to me, his color is perfect. You know, there's mood to it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's.
I mean, especially this particular photo, the color gradient is very Wong Kar-wai film.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it's just
True,
the greenish tone. There's a little bit of red.
Yes.
There's yellow.
This is
contrast.
the film simulation that the kids nowadays want to bring in.
Ah,
I know
okay.
the Instagram kids,
I
cinematic
see.
look.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have cinematic look.
Yeah. it
Film.
is. Yeah.
That's why I just use it.
Yeah. Might as well just use film.
Yeah.
It's all natural, right?
True. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Alright, so
Thanks.
this is good for this book.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one more book that I want to share with you. Okay,
Ah.
it's a book from the underground scene, hardcore in mono. Okay. So one of the reasons why I'm going to share with you is, apart from skateboarding, I'm also in the hardcore music scene.
Right.
Yeah. So what this book, it's actually not a book. It's actually a zine, photo zine. So it's a series of few gigs of different bands that played in Malaysia.
Oh, I see. Wow, cool.
So it was shot by one of my friend in Malaysia, and similarly he shot on film. And I'm not sure if you haven't been to any local underground gigs.
Honey,
or-
I've been to underground gigs in Germany.
Yeah. So you know how
So I know.
how
yes,
dark
it
and
can
how-
get
Yes.
rowdy.
Yes.
You know, people are drunkard, but I see Malaysia. I don't know whether they drink. I don't know lah. But
comments.
yeah, but but indeed, I can see the rawness
Yes.
of the whole environment, and I
True.
think that is what he wants to portray.
Yes.
You know, even you can see the light streaks.
Yes.
You know, it's all not fake. It's all there.
Yeah, end of the day,
you know?
that's what I think most photographers want to do,
Yeah.
to be as honest as possible, you know?
Yeah.
And especially for documentary, you can't fake it.
Yeah.
You
can't.
you can fake it,
Yeah.
but you won't want to fake it because you need to, what you want is to tell the real story, you know? Yeah, so go as raw as possible, and this is how we do it, go as raw as possible. Yeah, and I mean there's a few images, I mean if you look at them as a normal person, you say, hey, wow, very blur lah this photo, you know? Like what is photo, you know?
Yeah,
but
correct. I think everyone thinks that blurriness is something like a reject.
yes,
You know, and I think that is very sad because even in fashion, they all want very pitch sharp, you know, images, which I find it very sad because sometimes certain things which are blurred and imperfect can be very beautiful as well.
yes, true.
You know, yeah.
I mean, in certain imagery, you need blurriness.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for example, in a hardcore scene where everything moves very fast, you know, all the mosh pit, if you get a still photo, you won't feel like, you won't know that, they're actually moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with
Exactly.
all the blurriness, you know, oh, wow, they
Yeah.
must be moving very fast, you know,
Yeah.
this kind of crazy things, you know.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what is your most favorite image in this book?
Okay, most
Yeah.
most favorite image.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, let me share with you. Okay, it will be by this band, Black Wounds.
Oh,
Okay, so this is at the Key Melaka, one of the local underground venue for gigs. So the reason why I like this image, even though it's raw, it have this so-called artificial, accidental, creative lights, the light streaks.
so-
And secondly, on film, he managed to capture the vocalist jump. It's not easy.
Oh, really? Why is that?
It's not easy because because these bands or these bandmates or these people, once they are in the zone, they are literally in the zone. They themselves don't know what the hell they are doing. But to document this movement, you need to understand the whole scene. So
Alright.
the photographer, because he's from the scene, he understands. He know, oh, at this verse this guy gonna jump. Yeah, you know. So it's not a topic for every photographer to do. I mean, I can be a documentary photographer, but if I don't understand the whole scene, I don't understand the whole situation, I can't get the image.
Because you do not know the surprise element.
Yes, correct.
There, right?
Yeah. So that's the images. That's the images that you want to capture and you want to share,
right.
not just people standing and stuff.
Yeah,
you know? Because
exactly.
you need to tell a story. So like for example, the images beside. So a lot of light streaks blur. You know?
Yeah.
But this is because he uses flash.
So,
and because of the movement of the guitarist, you can see it's actually very intense.
Yeah.
And a lot of movement, and the way he frame it, also you know it's a very tight space.
Correct.
Yeah. So with proper techniques and research, I can say in photography you need to do a lot of research to actually bring out the story that you want.
And I believe he loves being in this bands.
Yeah.
I mean, he's maybe a fan of the bands as well.
True.
So there's a certain connection there, lah.
Yeah, and I mean, he's the guy not only love. I know him personally. He's been in the scene for I think almost 20 years.
Oh wow! Okay.
And after 20 years, then he produced one book. So, see, to be a photographer is not always like today I take photo, today I must post.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
especially when you do a project. Your project need to be a very long project. Then the project your series need to be relevant. You know, and you need to arrange your imagery and stuff. Yeah. So it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy to curate all these images together.
And honestly, for him, he's a DIY photographer. You know, I mean, those in the underground scene, they always do things DIY, do it yourself. So he won't be hiring any professional curator, professional digital artist and stuff. So everything is on his own. And to produce this fabulous sign, right? To me, it's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. It takes a lot of dedication and hard work as well. Yeah, and I think that is something what some young photographers are lacking of.
True.
You know, because they halfway through certain projects, sometimes they just want to quit.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be very, very painstaking. I can understand. Yeah, because I've been through that as well.
That's okay. There's another image I want to share. So, basically, I like all the image. But okay.
Okay, great.
So this is not an image of a band. It's an image of a crowd. So it's in KL, and if you can see, it's not your normal crowd. You have the
Mina Tudong, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, music is music.
Yeah.
You know, what's that? I mean, it's why not, right?
This photographer, I mean, he managed to capture this. This is, to me, part of the story.
Yeah.
Not many people will always think, hardcore is for all the punks.
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
skinheads.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
actually, there are normal people.
That's not true. Yeah,
and
that's not true.
Most of the people that attended this kind of gigs are corporate people.
Yeah,
they have normal everyday life.
Yeah.
And how you want to show that through this kind of imagery.
Yeah. I think that's something very beautiful, and it speaks that music is universal to everyone. You know, and it doesn't matter whether you're black or white or Asian. You know, and I think that photographer captures that in this moment where he really like kills all the genres.
Yes, true.
You know, I think that's beautiful.
Yep. So basically that's it.
Well, cool. Thank you for showing me this. Yeah. So
we are good. We're good. Sad.